We tend to think of our daily routines as just a way to be more productive, to get more done. But what if their real power isn't about that at all? What if it's about something much deeper, something like taking care of ourselves? Let's dive into how those small, maybe even boring things you do every day are actually a huge form of self-care.
Does this sound familiar? I mean, it hits home for so many of us. It's that weird middle ground feeling. You're functioning, right? You're getting through the day, but you don't actually feel good. You're definitely not thriving.
So that kind of begs the question, right? If there's no single giant disaster happening in our lives, why do our days feel so heavy, so draining? Well, it turns out the answer is a lot quieter and a lot closer to home than we usually think.
Okay, so first things first, let's just bust a huge misconception right out of the gate. This idea that our problems always come from one big dramatic event. This slide really just lays it all out. We're always looking for that one huge crisis, that one big thing to blame for all our stress. But the real problem? It's usually a slow burn. It's the hundreds of tiny draining habits that add up. The rushed mornings, the constantly crowded mind, and the fact that we're not getting any real rest. And this leads to a state that, let's be honest, we all know too well. Just going through the motions. It's when you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, but you feel totally disconnected from it. You're functioning, sure, but you're not actually present in your own life.
And wow, this just captures that feeling perfectly, doesn't it? It's like your body is on autopilot, making the coffee, answering the emails, but your mind, your soul, is just stuck on that little loading screen. The connection just isn't there. So what happens when you live like that day after day? You get depleted. And this isn't just about being tired. No, it's a deep drain on your mental and emotional battery. It's that feeling where even the smallest tasks start to feel like climbing a mountain. And this whole thing usually starts way earlier in the day than we realize.
That's because those first 30 minutes of your day have this disproportionate amount of power over the next 16 hours. Seriously, your morning really sets the tone for everything else.
And look, a chaotic start doesn't just vanish the moment you walk out the door. That feeling of being rushed, stressed out, already behind, it follows you. It sits with you in your meetings, it seeps into your conversations, and it shapes your decisions all day long.
A huge reason for this? Immediate overstimulation. Before our brains have even had a chance to, boot up for the day, we are just flooding them with input. Notifications, scary headlines, work emails. Our nervous system starts the day already overloaded. And the result is what I like to call the frantic morning. Think about it. You're hunting for your keys while trying to chug coffee, all while mentally rewriting an email in your head. It's just this constant state of panicked energy. Nothing feels calm. Nothing feels organized.
So, how do we fix this? It's not with some 2-hour Instagram perfect morning routine, I can tell you that. It starts with really small, gentle steps like these. These aren't about discipline. They're about giving yourself just a tiny moment to arrive in your own day before the world comes rushing in.
But let's be real. A gentler start is just that. It's a start. It's not going to save a day that's basically designed to drain you. And that's why the next step is all about protecting your energy throughout the day.
I mean, this has to be one of the most relatable feelings of modern life, right? We're constantly jumping between tasks, between screens, between thoughts. It's absolutely no wonder we feel so scattered and overwhelmed so quickly.
The key here is to actively carve out space.
Peace and quiet, they don't just magically appear in a busy schedule. You have to intentionally create little pockets for them. It's all about making space, not just waiting around for it to show up. And this doesn't have to be some big, complicated thing. We're talking about simple acts, like actually doing one thing at a time, or taking a short walk without your phone, eating your lunch without a screen in your face. These tiny little moments create essential breathing room for your mind.
Okay, so now let's talk about the final, and honestly, the most often neglected part of the day, the evening. How you close out today has a massive impact on how you're going to feel tomorrow.
Isn't that just the most perfect way to put it? Emotional leftovers? After a long day, so many of us just collapse. We don't wind down, we just stop. And we carry all the stress and the noise of the day right into our evening with us.
So the goal here is to make our evenings restorative. And a restorative activity isn't just not working. It's doing something that actively calms your mind and renews your energy. It's something that gives back to you more than it takes. So when we put all these pieces together, the morning, the day, the evening, this really clear theme starts to emerge. It shows us how these small habits truly create a big impact.
And this slide, this right here, just nails the core message. We need to forget about those theatrical, expensive routines we see all over social media. Real supportive routines are quiet. They're about comfort, and they're about steadiness. They are designed to actually help you, not to impress anybody else.
And honestly, this is the big secret, isn't it? Meaningful, positive change, it's usually not born from some big, dramatic moment. It's built quietly, through all those small, repeated, and often totally unimpressive actions that just support your well-being over time.
Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It's not about achieving perfection or turning yourself into some kind of productivity machine. The real goal is just to build a life that feels a little less frantic, a bit more present, and just fundamentally kinder to yourself.
And really, that's what it all boils down to. The real power is just in starting small. So what's one simple thing you could do, maybe today or tomorrow, to make your own day feel just a little bit kinder?